look, but a fast track. More than likely a tailwind today. It's not a 100% tailwind, but it's hard to get a 100% tailwind the way we're configured. Nonetheless, with Rodney Nelson, I'm Jim Byers. Thanks for looking in. Let's get right into our analysis and selections for this 12-race card. A couple of Arabian Stakes coming up, and we start right out with an 870 race for maidens. And a few of these have some 870 experience. Obviously, if they're maidens, none of them have ever won, and a bunch of them don't. So this is an interesting group. High five carryover of $18,221 heading into the first. And we will let Railbird Rodney offer his selection.
Yeah, not a bad way to kick off the card with that carryover for the Super High Five, a little over $18,000. There's only a field of 8 in this one, so, if you're putting a bunch of horses together, hey, this is a good one to try to take down that Super High Five jackpot tonight. I'm going to go with the number 3 on top. That's Technicolor. This is a horse that has tried this 870-yard distance just one time. In that one race, came right out here on the 12th of September, ran second in that race by 3/4 of a length. The horse was wide around the track, but still was able to come on and have a good finish in that one. I think Technicolor is going to take this first. My second choice, I'm going to go with the number 4 horse. This is one that's never run this 870-yard distance before. But if you take a look at the workouts, back on the 22nd of October, this horse did stretch out in a workout to 660. So adding some distance on from those last few races this horse has competed in. I think Daddy Superstar can get up there and finish in the money. I think there's a lot to like about this horse. Went off as a favorite the last 2 times in a row, but those are both real short sprint races. So I don't know. We'll see how Daddy Superstar, the first time going around that hook, is going to treat this horse tonight. And then I got the 6 as my third selection here. That's Fast Texas Justice. A solid third last time out, missing by a length. That was at this 870-yard distance. Came back at Louisiana Downs at the end of February, so has been off the track since then. Has put together a few workouts in that time, but we'll see. There's a lot of time off for Fast Texas Justice, so it's always a question mark there. Drawing one of the outside posts, too, is not always favorable in these hook races. But I'm going to go ahead and take this horse as third and see what he can do tonight.
We have the same picks in the same order. I added the 5, See the Fire as a 4th pick here. But the thing about Fast Texas Justice, since you were just mentioning him, he basically blew the turn in his last race at LAD. He could not have been much wider. And, typically the Louisiana Downs winter figures, the E-Speed figures in boldface, are abnormally high, and they normally stick out as being really high. But his were really, really low, so that makes me wonder, is he just not very fast, or was there something going on with the E-Speed figs? I don't know. He's an intriguing proposition because he does look like he wants to fire late and finish reasonably well, which is hard to find in these 870s. Nonetheless, I've got him third as well. I think the race kind of sets up for a closer because Daddy Superstar, who's going to take a lot of money, and not much money in the pools yet, but is 3 to 5. Now, I'm sure that he's not going to stay there. He's coming out of those sprints, and he is absolutely going to be firing out there fast. But I think he's going to tire. Even if he wins, he's going to be coming back to them at the end. So I think it sets up for a closer, and I think that's liable to be Technicolor. I like horses that debut at 870 and show a liking for it, and then come right back and do it again, and it wasn't a race from 2 years ago or something like that. I did look up the dam of Daddy Superstar to see if there's any indication that, other than the fact that he comes from a good barn and all that, that he might like 870, and his dam ran mostly in Mexico City, so who knows. But nonetheless, I'm going to go with Technicolor as well. If it's down to 2 horses like that are close in the line and look like they're pretty evenly matched, I always tend to favor the inside horse in these 870s. On to the second race. Maiden claiming Texas breds. 440 is the distance, so 2-year-olds don't generally go 440 except in the All-American trials. So none of these have been 440.
Yeah, this is going to be the first time for any of these to run this distance. I'm on the outside horse, number 10, Dusty's Delight. This horse is taking a class drop out of those maiden races into this maiden claiming for the 10,000 for the first time. Angel Sanchez, the trainer, he continued his winning ways last night, picked up a win in the nightcap. I think there's a lot to like about Dusty's Delight. I don't think that the 440 is going to be a problem for this horse. And that last race that he showed out here at 400 yards was fairly decent for that one. He ran fourth in that one, was beaten a neck by a next out winner. I like Dusty's Delight here in this spot. Second choice, I'll go with the 6 and Brickfielder PZ. This is another horse taking a drop in class right here. Those horses that Tudor Jordan has, I mean, you got to take a look at his horses as well. I mean, he's had some pretty good in-the-money finishes here this year. I think Brickfielder PZ is one of those that can get out there and be out toward the front in this race. Let's see if this horse can hold on for the 440. Kind of a question mark there.
Yeah.
And then my third choice, I'm going to go with the 3 and Fire Rockstar. Only one one race for this horse that came back on the 10th of October. Ran second in that one just by head. I always love that second start angle, second off a layoff angle. Fire Rockstar, that last race was at 250, so he's going to put a lot more distance on, and we'll see if Fire Rockstar can't stretch it out today.
Yeah, he is a first-time gelding, which is interesting. I'll be announcing that. It's not in the program, but I looked it up. Number one, it's on Equibase as a change, but number two, I looked up the October 10th program just now, and he was listed as a colt. So he's had a trainer change since his debut. Also, Giacomo Mejia was his trainer when he ran a really nice second going 250. I don't know if he's going to like the 440. Who knows? I mean, if they pick up 40 or 50 yards or something like that, I don't worry about it. But when they go from 250 to 440, that's a pretty significant change. Working my way up the selections because we've got the same picks in the same order, 10-6-3. Brickfielder PZ, I don't know how much he's going to like the 440 either. You mentioned that. I mean, he did have a 330 work last week. That's okay. But, I mean, he's given way in every race going shorter. We'll see. As far as the top pick, I mean, I like Dusty's Delight. 2 starts ago, faced Fancy Pants Heidi. I think she's halfway decent. And then in that last race, that maiden race here, faced a Fleeting Kiss, who stepped into Allowance Company last night, ran 7th. As kind of an outsider, so not much to go by off the competition out of her last race. But faces a softer field today. On to the third. Third race, non-winners of 2 claimers, 250 is the distance.
I'm on the 7 horse, Zeph Garcia Sace. Now, this horse was a winner last time out, broke his maiden last time out. That was at the $5,000 level at 250, but, we're talking the same distance here. If the horse was able to cross that line last time by a length and a quarter in front of everybody else, it's a pretty good margin of victory for a short race like that. It's going to face winners for the first time, so we'll see how that treats the 7 horse, but I'm going to go ahead and pick it on top. Second selection, I'm going to go with one that's a little bit of a shot. That's your number 4, and Jess Worthy. I'm counting out that last race. I mean, that was the Yellow Rosa Texas Stakes. The horse was probably in over her head there. It's moving down here to the $10,000 price. If you look how the horse did at the $7,500 level, I mean, ran second just by a nose, a third by 3/4 before that. So the horse has definitely been moving up, been up there close in a lot of the races here that she's run this year. But we're going to see. I don't know. I think this 250-yard distance is probably going to treat this horse right. I mean, the last time that she ran it, was a solid third in that one. And that was for the $15,000 tag. Third choice, I'm going with the number 5. That is the Witch of November. Last time out, starter optional claiming race. Ran 6th in that one. Didn't have the best start. A couple races before that was running an Allowance Company. That won 2 starts back. I mean, the horse missed just by a head. That was at 300 yards. The horse has run 255 different times, has a couple seconds to show for it out of those 5 tries. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of a, not a shot, but I'll go ahead and throw that 5, the Witch of November, in my top 3 here.
Sure. I mean, I've got that horse second as well. I love a class dropper, so I've got her second. I'm going with the 11, At Attention. Don't love the post position, but I love a class dropper, and At Attention is making a huge class drop, not just in terms of having run in the Rainbow Invitational and the All-American Derby trials, etc., but just look at the horses that this gelding has been running against, and hasn't been right up with them all the way to the wire, but has been reasonably competitive with 3 Blue Coronas, who ran an absolutely monster race earlier this meet. Fernway, who's a star. Love Is Everything V is top-notch. KJ Mucho Macho Man's going to be in the Texas Classic Derby. Those were all horses that won races with At Attention here this summer. If he gets out of there well, which he did in early November here, I like his chances. Maybe get a little bit of a price. I don't know. The Witch of November second, and Bratva, who has a work at Zia Park on November 16th. 220 on a fast track and 12:15 breezing out of the gate, would be a third pick Rick Lee has Bratva on top as his best long shot of the day. I don't like him quite that much, but you got to kind of watch those New Mexico breds that have been facing decent New Mexico bred company. On to the fourth. 2-year-old non-winners of 2 here, $10,000 the tag, and they're going $350.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of a shot here. Looks like you do. We got the same horse, Jim, the 8, yeah. River Rat. This horse is dropping down, coming in for a tag for the first time. Take a look at how this horse did back at Ruidoso this year in the early August. I mean, the horse was able to break his maiden out there, won that race by half a length, stepped into some tougher races since then, but is in for that $10,000 tag tonight. So I think the claiming ranks is going to do River Rat well here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the 8. Second choice is going to be your number 9 horse in Zumalot. Last time out ran a 6, but hey, picked up the win to break her maiden. The race before that, that was right out here on our track. Has been running right around this distance. I mean, it's had some 300-yard races, some 350s. Had a couple 330s as well. So that's what we're. Zumalot, all around it, these 300 levels. I think that this horse can definitely get the distance and do well in it. Like I said, picked up a win 2 back. My third selection is going to be your number 4, an Older Soul. A winner last time out. That was in a maiden claiming race. At 300 yards, this horse has put together a 350-yard race before. Didn't do too hot in that, but I'm thinking after that last one, maybe this horse is going to get on those winning ways and being in here for the tag tonight. Looks good for Older Soul. Trained by Angel Sanchez. He hits the board quite a bit out here this season. I think it's a fairly safe play to take that number 4 in the top 3.
I think it's worth mentioning, and this is a soapbox I used to get on in past years. I've kind of put it aside because it's never going to change. But when a horse is entered and takes to the racetrack and gets scratched, whether it's a vet scratch, they run off, whatever, I think that should be in the PPs. This horse on October 18th was entered, suited up, went to the track, and acted like a complete head case, let's just say, ran off in the lead up to the race and was scratched. And I think, to me, that's significant. Watch how this horse behaves in the paddock. Watch yourself in the paddock with this horse and out there, because that may give an indication. Just on his racing record, I've got him as a 4th pick. He rates. But I think horses that enter and scratch, especially if they come to the racetrack, should be in the PPs. They won't be, and I've given that soapbox up except for tonight. That being said, I think this is a really wide-open race, so I took River Rat as well. Has definitely faced better, should like the distance. When he's faced a reasonable level of competition for him, he's fared well. Second pick for me is going to be the 3 Big Time Chickie, who's kind of a logical choice. 1 is a heavy favorite in late October, despite some trouble. Third pick is the 2 EC Jet Flying. Used to be with Adrian Wheatrone, but now is with Santiago Riojas. Don't know what's up there, but nonetheless, didn't do much running last time. But don't sleep on Coquettish either, the outside filly. Completely draw a line through that race. It was a disaster last time out against much better, but first time in for a tag. If you could overlook that last race, Coquettish could factor as well. Now, on to the 5th, Grade 3 Texas Arabian Stallion Stakes, fillies and mares 3 and up. And we've got a couple of really good Arabians. Not just in this race, but in the next one as well.
Yeah, these are going to be fun to watch tonight. We get to see Uptown Sandy Girl. That's my top pick here. Seems like it's probably going to be everybody's top pick in this race, I would believe. This horse has a lot of stakes experience, has won a lot of money. Over $250,000 in her lifetime. If you take a look at the last time that this horse ran at 1 mile, you know what? They came right out here about a year ago. Basically in this same race right here. It was an Arabian Stallion Stakes last year. Won that race by 7 3/4, so that was a pretty good margin of victory at this 1 mile distance. The horse has only tried the mile 3 times and does have that win out here in this race last year. I think Uptown Sandy Girl is going to be the one to beat here in race number 5. Second choice, I'll go with the 5. That's Dance With Me BW. This is another horse that's done pretty good at this distance and here at Lone Star Park. Has had 2 starts out here on our racetrack. has picked up a win and a third. That third coming in the Arabian Stallion Stakes last year, where Uptown Sandy Girl won that race. I mean, take a look at how this horse has performed at the 1 mile distance. 5 starts, has 3 wins, a second and a third, so it's hit the board 100% of the time at this 1 mile distance. I think that's one to watch. And then for my third choice, I'm going with the number 1 horse, an RB Game Changer. This is a horse that's put together 3 out of the last 4 races. This horse has picked up the win in those races. Has run this mile distance 3 times. The best this horse has ever done is a third at the mile distance. So it kind of worries me a little bit about this horse stretching out. But, the record out here at Lone Star Park, 100% in the money with 2 wins from 5 starts. I think RB Game Changer is one to take a look at as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've got her 4th. I picked Dream Pearl 3rd. I mean, to me, they're kind of similar. They both come out of sprints. They both like to be forwardly placed, but so do the big mares in here. Uptown Sandy Girl and Dance With Me both generally are fairly close to the lead. I went with Uptown Sandy Girl. Not only is she exiting a much better effort in that UAE President's Cup at Pimlico, a Grade 1 race. Dance With Me was in that race as well, and was severely up the track, really stopped late. But she's exiting a better race and just has a better resume. And it's going to be interesting, though, to see the pace scenario there. On to the 6th. 350 yards here, Maiden Claimers. I think I had this one as the top 3 selections for me, the 8-1-12, as being kind of hard to separate. You have a different pick, though. You're going with Trace Generales FTL, who I like as well, obviously.
Yeah, I didn't take the 8 who you have on top here. But I thought this race was one of the more wide-open races of the night to me. I thought there was a whole bunch of different ways that I could go. And I did settle on Trace Generales FTL. I mean, the last two races for this horse, I mean, he's only gotten beat by a length in both of them. I like that when they're not losing by too bad. Those both came right out here on our track at Lone Star Park. One of them was at the 350-yard distance. So, I mean, a lot of good things going for Trace Generales FTL here. I like the way that Ricardo Garza Cruz rides these horses, too. It's never out of the question to see him in the winner's circle after the race is done. I went with the outside horse, the 12, as my second selection. She's a Little Jet. Solid second last time out. That was in a maiden claiming race for $5,000. She's in for the $5,000 tag here. Only missed by 3/4 of a length last time. Was bumped when they were getting out of the gate. So I think with a better trip, she's not going to be bumped from the outside in this one. I mean, there's no one outside of her. So I think if she can get out clean, she has a chance to win this. And we saw one of the horses last night fire from that 12 hole. I think ran second, but made up a lot of ground.
My video horse, Joe Loop,
ran
second from the outside at 10-1 with Ricky Ramirez.
So not bad. So I mean, I like the 12 hole out here this year. Don't like the 10s. I've talked about that earlier, but I like the 12s. I think that this horse can have a good shot. And then Heavenly Secrets, the number 6 horse. That's going to be my third selection here. I mean, when you're looking at the rest of them, it's this one you can make a case for it. I mean, it's taking a drop in class from those last 2 races. Doesn't have any wins out here at Lone Star out of 4 tries. Hasn't really been that close either in most of them. But, I'm going to go ahead and give Heavenly Secrets the benefit of the doubt on that class drop here.
This race could go so many different ways. I'm a little disappointed I wound up on the favorite here, Coco's Creek. The thing I liked about him was he took a tremendous amount of money last time. Looking at his form from his previous 3 races, I was watching the lead up to that September 20th race thinking, why is this horse 2-1? Why is he 5-2? He wound up going off at 5-2. He took a ton of money, but then he ran like it. He ran really well. He was only beaten a neck by El Cartel. I thought he ran a huge race. When horses take money in this sport and then run well and you don't really know why, it means something has changed and they're much better than they were. That's typically the way I see it. So I took him back. I think he's going to be too short a price for me, but I mean, I took him because I think he's got the best chance to win. Trace Generales has that interesting scenario going from the far outside to the rail. Neither one is necessarily a huge advantage. You can win from both spots, but he does exit a nice race. And She's a Little Jet, had legitimate trouble last time, was forwardly placed. I went back and rewatched the race. It was a good race. It didn't just blow me away, though, enough to pick her from the 12 hole, but we'll see how it goes. On to the 7th. Scratch here, a couple scratches out of the 7th. This is the Colton Gelding division of the Texas Arabian Stallion Stakes. Scratch the 2 and the 6. 6-shooter carryover, $6,139.
Yeah, I on the 4, Patty's Day. I think this is the one to beat here. I mean, this horse has had very good success out here at Lone Star Park, winning 3 races out of 5 starts. I mean, this horse has put together back-to-back wins, won the UAE President's Cup, Pimlico, back on Preakness Day. So you got to say, this horse is doing very well. I mean, the race before that at Arapahoe was at this 1 mile distance, won it by 18 lengths in that one. Patty's Day, this is one that we've seen out here before. I like this horse. I think this one gets across that finish line first. I went with the number 8, RB Rich Like Me, as my second selection here. This horse ran in that UAE President's Cup too, along with a lot of these other ones. They've been even in the females division. They were in this race. So there's a lot of horses coming out of that big one. I'm going to count a line through that one. Horse was well beaten in that one. Ended up beaten by 19 1/4. But the race before that, out here at Lone Star Park in September, that was a Texas Arabian Derby, a Grade 3 race. This horse won it by 11 1/2. A few races before that was up close in all of them with on-the-board finishes. So I think that RB Rich Like Me, you got Ernesto Torres, too, who rocks and rolls with these Arabian horses. I'm going to go ahead and take the longer shot of his horses in here. That is RB Rich Like Me. I'm going to take the Quicksand AA. That's the number 7 as my third selection here. This horse won 2 starts back at Delaware in a $40,000 race there. Before that, was up there pretty close. This horse has been out here on our track, has hit the board every time this horse has run out here. Does have 1 win out of those 4 outs. I think Quicksand AA, pretty decent selection to throw in those 3 picks here.
Yeah, Patty's Day and Uptown Cruise Director had a great stretch drive in that UAE President's Cup. I mean, it was the same track, same stretch as the immortal Easygoer Sunday Silence Preakness of 31 years ago. Not putting them in that class, but these are 2 really, really good Arabians. And Patty's Day just got up and nailed him right near the wire, beat him by a half length after Uptown Cruise Director had an uncontested lead. He's not going to get an uncontested lead in this spot. Not certainly with RB Rich Like Me in there and maybe a couple of others. So I went with Patty's Day for that reason. I think he's going to get a good trip in here. So I went 4, 9, 8, 7. Let's move on to the 8th. Scratch the 5, My Candy's 101. 400 yards here, maiden special weight 2-year-olds.
Yeah, I took the number 9, Love, right here in this spot. Last time out was in a trial for the Texas Classic. Was well beaten in that one. I mean, the horse reared at the break. Didn't get out of the gate very well. But, this horse was fast enough to qualify for the Firecracker Futurity back at Delta Downs in August. So something to be said for that. I mean, the horse was moving in those 2 races up there quick. Had a decent finish in that one. So I think Love can get up there and take this one and break her maiden tonight. Second choice, I'm going to take the 3 in Vince LeBlue. 2 starts for this horse, had a second most recently. It was in a maiden claiming race then for the $20,000 tag. Just by a head, the horse missed. Toby Keaton, Luis Vivanco team up for this one. There's no doubt that those guys can be in the winner's circle. And then I'll take the number 4, Coronata Girl, as my third selection here. 3 starts for this one. Has been running this 400-yard distance for the last 2. Has some pretty good speed numbers there. So, I think that this horse does have a shot to get up there.
Yeah, I took her on top. I don't like the fact that after a couple of decent races, including one against Dulce Sintacha, who has a legitimate chance to win the Texas Classic Futurity, they put a flipping halter on her last time. She was 44 1 in a Texas Classic trial and, ran a few jumps and then stopped. I don't love the fact they put a rig on a horse that had run pretty decently 2 times in a row, but nonetheless, that's neither here nor there. But I went ahead and took her in a close call. Love, if you can overlook that start, that was a really tough trial. That was that very first trial, and it had all kinds of horses that had some accomplishments. And, this horse was 27 1, but just absolutely reared at the start and, had absolutely no chance on the inside. If you can overlook that, I mean, she certainly has a huge shot in here. And then I took Wicked Sweet Z as a third pick for Clinton Crawford. Has been off since late May. Just kind of taking a flyer on her because Vince LeBlue coming out of those maiden races, to me, it's a huge difference between horses that run decently in trials, especially the really good trials, versus the maiden competition. Now, saying that, Vince LeBlue, he may just go straight to the winner's circle since I Said that about him. Let's do a little video here on race number 9. Allowance event, non-winners of 2. We are going to watch the favorite, the likely favorite, number 9. He's back. This is a race from November 7th. This is a Texas Classic Derby trial. Let's go ahead and roll it here. He's going to get out well. This is going to be a really good effort for this horse on the outside. Now, this was an incredibly productive trial. Just Smokin' Hot is the 8 in the pink silks. All he did was qualify second fastest for the Derby. Aviator is in the yellow silks. All he did was qualify third fastest, and then Just You Are Blue down on the inside qualified fifth fastest. Now, my horse on the outside there, he's back in the turquoise. He faded a little bit late, obviously. He ran 2 lengths back at 7-1. Ran, I thought, a really nice race. I like him in here quite a bit. I see you do too. Overlove the way you run. Who's another one of those former Wheatron horses that's now with Riojas. And then I took Hodgepodge Hawks third.
Yeah, I mean, he's back. I mean, watching that video right there, it's pretty interesting. You named 4 horses that all made the finals, right? This horse ran 6, or 3 horses that made the finals. So that was a very fast trial right there. Not being that far back, I mean, he's back. I think he's got a chance here. You talked about the 11, Love the Way You Run. I'll go ahead and talk about my third pick here, Big Drama. I mean, this horse has been up there close, and 3 out of the last 4 races has 2/3, a second, and then an 8th sandwiched in between. But that 8th came in a Derby trial at Ruidoso for the All-American, so definitely tough there. But hey, those last 2 races, I mean, coming both of them out here at Lone Star Park. Ran 1 in Allowance Company, 2 back at this 400-yard distance, only missed by 3/4 of a length. Was bumped at the start. I think Big Drama could run big right here in race number 9.
A throwback to Entourage.
I've been watching Entourage over this last week. Yeah,
good show. On to the 10th. This is what my predecessor here, I think, used to call a raffle. Really wide open race, 300-yard allowance.
Yeah, I took one that's quite a bit of a shot here in race number 10. That's the number 6 in Fisher's Train. I mean, Alonzo Neary, he can win with horses. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's win with probably 25% of the horses. I mean, my math's not 100% accurate there, but close to it.
Yeah.
But Fisher's Train, so let's take a look. Last time was in an allowance race, ran 5th in that one. That came right out here, but take a look at the 2 starts before that. Both of them at this 300-yard distance. Won both of those races, including one of them by a length and 3/4. So has won 2 out of 3 at this distance right here. Last one, I just think the horse had some bad luck getting bumped in that one. I think Fisher's Train, 15-1 morning line. Rickley's got on this one. I think this is one that's going to make you smile and hopefully knock a lot of people out of that pick 5 and pick 6 that I'm going to play tonight. And Fisher's Train is 6, get some big money.
He was really hammered in his last start at the beginning, as it mentions, bumped hard. I mean, that was unbelievably compromising.
Yeah.
He took a lot of money last time.
I mean, this horse is taking a lot of money every time that he's been out of the track, pretty much. Second choice is going to be the one on the inside. That's the number 1 in Streakin' Hawks. I mean, the last 2 races for this one just missed by a head last time. Picked up a maiden breaking win before that. So the horse has been trending in the right direction as of late. That maiden breaking win did come at this 300-yard distance, so you got to like that. And then I took the 8 Vindication as my third selection here. This horse was a winner last time out as well, so you got to like that. I'll talk about those Angel Sanchez horses. These horses can finish in the money, no doubt about it. I just like the other 2 a little bit better than Vindication, but I think this is going to be a tight race. I'm favoring the odds for my top choice here with Fisher's Train.
Yeah, I think this is a good race to do that. I took Vindication. I'm not thrilled with taking horses off good maiden wins, coming right back and facing winners, especially when you got horses like Streakin' Hawks and some of these others that have run decently against winners. But I went ahead and took Vindication here. I love the way he closed last time. He hasn't been out in a couple of months, but I went ahead and took him, hoping to get a decent price. There's a lot you could take in here. My second pick is Streakin' Hawks. Had to work here on November 18th. 220 and 1262 breezing. In fact, there's a bunch of horses in here. The 3 Genetics and the 4 Seven Tails also have recent works. We'll be announcing those. But I took Vindication over Streakin' Hawks, who comes out of a couple of really bang-up races. And then She's Your Secret's my third pick. But, Seven Tails has a shot. Fisher's Train. Coronado Hustle on the outside, obviously. There's a lot of contention in there. On to the 11th. Optional claimer here, 300 yards. Is the distance, and really good field in here.
Yeah, good one here. I got the number 5 and Trace Jazz as my top choice here. Another horse trained by Alonzo Neary. This horse was also a winner last time out. That came in the allowance ranks, non-winners of 4 to be exact, where this horse picked up that winner. So this horse has had a lot of wins in his career. I think Trace Jazz, I like this one. I mean, this horse has been running in some pretty big races. I think this horse can go ahead and take the victory here. Number 9, My Famous Wagon, will be my second choice. This last time out, this horse ran 8th, but that was at 110 yards. I mean, he was beaten by 3/4 of a length.
Yeah.
It's going from 110 back to 300 to a longer race
treat
today.
Those like workouts.
Yeah, I mean, you never really know what happens. It's like kind of a roll of the dice. It seems like in those 110-yard races. But the last time that this horse ran this 300-yard distance, this horse was a winner. So you got to like that. That came at Ruidoso Downs earlier this year. After that win, I mean, the horse put together 3 consecutive second-place finishes, including one in the stakes race at the Downs at Albuquerque. And then that most recent one, which was that short race. But I think My Famous Wagon can do something pretty big here in race number 11. And then the number 6, Pa Cha-Ching, is going to be my third selection here. I mean, you got to like this horse. This horse won the Texas Classic Juvenile last year. Ran in the trials for the Texas Classic this year. Was in a tough trial. I mean, trumped my record, won it. Ratification was in there. Only thing bad about that, the trial wasn't fast enough to get any of them in the finals. But I mean, definitely some solid horses in there. Some of the better horses in the region, no doubt about it. But I think Pa Cha-Ching, we might be able to see this horse fire tonight. 20-1 on it. Blainwood, you can't overlook those guys at 20-1, right?
You got to exactly. You got to think he's going to bounce back to that 2-year-old form at some point. I took Uncle Ed's idea. He was really good in the spring at Remington. It's hard to keep a horse going really well from March to November, so they gave this horse a bunch of time off. And then, his races since he came back from his sort of summer break haven't been too bad. I mean, he's run into some really, he was in that really good trial we saw a little bit earlier with Just Smokin' Hot, an aviator, and was reasonably competitive. He's dropping. I don't know if he's quite the quickest in here out of the gate, but he has run well at 300 before in the Bob Moore, which is a open graded race at Remington. I'm going with Uncle Ed's idea over My Famous Wagon. I don't know why I'm overlooking Trace Jazz or why I've got him third. I mean, he does just about all that he's asked for every single time, but that's how I have it lined up. Quick look at video here in the 12th as we get low on time. We're going to watch the 12, Ranger the Stranger. Let's go ahead and take a look at it here. Just watch him finish in this race. He's got the outside here. He's got the outside tonight. He's in the lime green. In this race, he will get up and win by a nose off a layoff since December. Look at him. He's out there where they do the post parade. He's not even on the harrowed part of the track. And he's going to rally up here and win this race by a nose over that horse down toward the inside, who's also in this race, by the way, Aside the Fire, who's right alongside him in the gate tonight. So actually, I could have pointed that out. They ran 1-2. I hate to just go 12-11 in the nightcap. That doesn't seem to work that often, but I'm going with him. I'm going Ranger the Stranger to repeat. Really fired off the layoff. Aside the Fire ran big last time, and I'm taking Flight to La Jolla down on the inside, who just got claimed last time out for his new connections. Trainer hasn't started a horse in about a year and a half. We'll see how that goes. I got him third.
Yeah, only other horse I really need to talk about is my top selection. That's the 3 in Baja Jesse. You were talking about Flight to La Jolla getting claimed last time out. Well, the same thing happened to Baja Jesse. Baja Jesse was claimed by Tony Cedillo. You recognize that name. He's got a lot of good horses, knows what to do with them, knows how to spot them well, and can win with them. I mean, cross out that last race, and the horse was a second before that, a close-up 4th, 3rd, and then a win. So 2020's been fairly good for Baja Jesse. We'll see with the trip to the new barn. Can't help this horse out. 12-1, I'm taking a shot in the nightcap. The pick 6 yesterday paid 4 out of 6 in that pick 6 sequence. So there were some long shots out there last night. I'm looking for the same thing tonight, and hopefully 3 Baja Jesse gets it done in the nightcap with some big odds for me.
Well, I've got him picked 4th as well. He's never been this far. It's a 440-yard race, but he's comfortable with the level of competition. And, he just threw in a clunker last time against Ranger the Stranger and Aside the Fire. There's no reason he can't rebound. And so, no doubt about it. And the 2 Admiral Zumwalt is scratched out of this race, shortening up. He's usually an 870. Admiral Zumwalt by the way. I believe his first name was Elmo.
Elmo.
Was
they
a
called him
Navy
Bud
Admiral,
or something.
huh?
I said they called him Bud.
Navy Admiral in the, well, way back. I mean, I say way back, but specifically known for the Vietnam era, but went back farther than that as well. This horse isn't, now, Admiral Zumwalt, the person, his name wasn't spelled Zoom like a quarter horse, it was Z-U-M, but nonetheless, interesting historical 60-year-old reference.
I had to look it up after you sent me that text earlier. But his birthday's next week. I saw on Wikipedia, the 29th, so a week from today,
right?
I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
for what it's worth.
The one-eyed wonder, Admiral Zumwalt, the horse, will not be running tonight. But, hey, we got time for that bit. All right, we are now out of time, though. Thanks for looking in. And we look forward to bringing you the races tonight. And then one more night after this coming Saturday, Texas Classic night. Good luck.